Hello, hello, hello. Today, I'm doing a rare later in the day stream. So, occasionally, people that follow my YouTube channel complain or comment that they would like me to stream later. I tend to stream in the morning UK time because it's the only time I can consistently stream because of kids and stuff like that. But today, they're not here. The Game Makers Toolkit Jam ended about a week ago. Lots of people in the Indie Game Clinic Discord community made games for that. So, want to play some of those. And then just have a look around in the jam and see what else is good. Because I've seen some screenshots of some of the games from the jam. It looks like there's some really good stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. And yeah, I've just got a thread in our Indie Game Clinic Discord of the games that folks have submitted from our community. And then I will be looking at those first, and then we'll see what else afterwards. I think maybe I might be able to add them all to a little playlist on here, and then I don't have to keep ducking back in, but we shall see. Yeah. I'm just going to put a stream alert up in our Discord as well. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. I probably got about 4 hours of game dev done today, which is good, among some other things. Had to dip out a moment ago. Have an elderly mother, so occasionally have to go and do stuff for her, which I don't mind doing. Have quite a flexible job to fit it in around, but not very good at just being company for someone, in that situation when it's like, hey, I've just started my own business in the last 6 months, and it's doing okay, but all the time I spend not working, it's not growing. So it's just not a good combination of things in my life right now. Right, so we have got Berdalerps. I'm just going to click on all these links now, get them all up preemptively, and hopefully that'll give us our starting point. Yeah, there we go. We can play through these, and then I want to look at some of the games that have come from other folks, see what we've got. And the theme of Mark's Jam was loop. I do want to have a quick jump onto the main page first, because one of the things about Game Maker's Toolkit is it is a designer-led jam, and Mark's an interesting person because he was a games critic and a games journalist for a very long time, and a lot of his design chops come from analysing games, and then he sort of got into doing the hands-on stuff more recently. But one of the things I think comes with that is the fact that when Mark picks a game jam theme... Oh yeah, Spoon, please feel free to put a link in the chat. I will grab it off of Streamlads. I think when Mark picks a theme for a jam, there's usually a reason for it. Like, he's thought about what people need to learn to do and stuff. I thought loop was a strange theme. I haven't found anywhere where he talks about the rationale for that, because to be honest, I had such a busy summer. I haven't really been following this one apart from just seeing what people are making in our Discord. But loop feels like a strange one because all games have a loop in of some sort. It's like a design fundamental, really. So I'm really interested to see how people interpret that and how literally people take it, or and so on. So I'm gonna see what people have made, and I'm gonna go through these ones that we've got up on the browser right now. Just full screen this so we've got a bit more real estate. Berdalerps. Whose is this one? Rice Kiedemos? Is that right? Shredmill. Berdalerps is my entry to the game jam. Use the console at the bottom of the screen to make a looping route for your token, a blue marble, and collect the pink candies in order to move to the next board. And if you want the game to go faster, press the number button next to the minus button. Okay. It's a mazer. Ah, okay. Mazer was like a very fast-paced maze game that we've had on the community streams recently. That's a really aesthetically pleasing game. So if this is anything like that, I'm expecting some minimalism done well in the aesthetic. Hey Felipe, at the moment, so my plan is we've got the channel supporters in the Discord have submitted some games, but there's only about 8 games in that list. So I'm going to play through those, and then if you've made a game for GMTK's jam, stick a link in the chat now and we'll show it in a minute, and then after that I will just look at the top entries and see what did well and think about why it did so well. Oh, this is very pretty already. So I am doing am I doing programming? Is this a Zachtronics? It is a Zachtronics. It's a sequence programming game. So hang on, I just moved my so I'm moving the blue thing, and I need to pick up the candies. They look a bit like blood oranges. So in this one, if I go down and left, and then that forms a loop, I will get them all. This is what I need Zachtronics games to be. This level of complexity. They never start at this level. They always like just jump you ahead straight away. Down, right, up. I don't know. What does the one button do? Down, right. I've only got one action. How does that work? Yeah, if you added something to the thread already, that's fine. Just I'll check it out in a minute. Up, right. I only have 2 actions I can program in. Ah. It has Pac-Man looping. So if I go right up instead of upright, does that mean I'll get round this? Oh no, I have to go the other direction. Oh, this is a bit brain melty for me. So it has wraparound. It has kind of a wraparound logic, I think. Yes. You know what I would love to see with this? If you made a bigger version of this game, I would love to see the wraparound logic represented as an actual, like, it's on a tube and it can go all the way around. So you have a bit more of a visually obvious way of showing that thing. Okay, so this needs to go down, left, down, and then it will go there. And then if it goes down, left, down, down, left. Yeah, down, left, down should do it, I think. Down. No. Yeah, one of the things people always said about this particular jam is that Mark picks good themes, but I do think loop is a bit too generic. It's like it feels a bit like setting mechanics as a theme for a game jam, because maybe he just saw too many entries before and was like, I wish this game had a game loop. Because that's how I organise our game jams. I try and have like a sort of educational rationale for what I ask people to do, you know, and I tell people this is why I think you should practice this skill. Down, left, down. Down, down, left, down. Down, left. I'm going to add another down. I feel like I'm going to end up brute forcing this by just trying loads of combinations. Okay, I'm going to try down, left, left, down this time. It's really hard not to just fall into the kind of brute forcing it type thing. Down, left, down, right. Down, left. I mean, one of the things that could be happening here is it could be tricking me, and actually I'm supposed to go the other direction. But that, it feels unlikely. So if I were to go left, up, left, and we go up, left, left, up, left. This is neat though. I like this. I'm not going to play any more of it because we're going to end up with loads of links to check. But this is very beautiful aesthetically. Every interaction has feedback on it, which is really nice to see in small scope games. I would always rather see a game that was smaller where everything had a sound effect and stuff like that than something had been too ambitious. So I feel like the person who made this has a good sense of like estimating their own tasks and what they can get done in a particular time. But yeah, as someone who loves the idea of Zachtronics games but finds them far too hard, this is the sort of thing I would like to see developed into a bigger thing. Because I like programming games, I'm just not very good at them. Hotwire Hospital. Very excited to see this one. We've got this is. I mean, the last one was like very much a there is a correct answer type puzzle. This looks like it's going to be more of an efficiency puzzle of like. Well, you'll see. I know what this is. Not everyone in the chat will know what this one is. Hotwire Hospital. We've got 5 levels. Guess what? Tom. I'm not going to fill out a feedback form today. Gumball, just crank it. Boss is really riding me today. Says if I don't make the candy, then he doesn't write the paycheck. Is that all life is? A transaction? Oh, you can't see the excellent Gumball. Oh, I need to come down here. Look at that excellent Gumball up there. It says just crank it. I'll go back to this mode so you can see everything. Just dispense the candy. So this hose is pumping out candy unless I click there and click there. And then it goes along there. It turns candy into money. So that's kind of just teaching us how to do the basic interaction of tying the tube. So that's it. I restarted because I didn't like that there was all this candy on the floor. I like that you can delete it to clear it up though. Some big dumb idiot just took over the company and he's screwing everything up. He says if I don't turn it all around and start pumping out candy canes, he's gonna bash my dome in. I'm too old for this. I can't wait till I can retire and get Dusty in a takeout restaurant lobby. Okay, that's good. That turns those into peppermints. The UX of this is fantastic. No, not that way. Okay, we're not doing anything where we really have to think about it yet because it's just teaching us how to do the basic thing of plugging things into each other. Let's see where this goes. Ever since I burnt down the weenie hut, all I can do is pee on the floor. Please help me make ice cubes again. They said if I keep leaking or start just one more fire, it's a shredder for me. Oh, this is Frank Freeze. Oh, we've changed character. We're on the ice machine now. The ice machine. Ice into the contaminated freezer, and then that brown ice into the ice sanitizer, and the white goes the clean water or the clean ice cubes go in there, and the poop goes in the incinerator, and the incinerator doesn't need to go anywhere else. I do feel like I want... So at the moment, the interaction works by clicking on the inputs and outputs and just clicking on the other place. I do feel kind of like I want to click and drag them rather than click and click. I'm not sure why. It just feels like a more natural interaction. Okay. It's asking me to do that again. Oh, I see. I see. No, 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 no! Okay. I'm gonna hook it all up before I do anything else. The ice cubes go in the output. The poop goes in the incinerator, and then the incinerator loops back round here. But no, not the ice cubes in. Yeah, it's a little bit buggy about what it thinks the last thing you clicked on was, I would say. Don't leak too many of them. Don't start another fire. Okay. But there's a way that I need to... Maybe I need to put two... I think maybe you can have two things going in the same way like that. That's where I was going wrong. Because I didn't see two sockets. And I thought it would be like... Yeah, there we go. I thought each socket was an input. I didn't realize you could have like two things going in the same place like this. Yeah, the click and drag would improve the game feel of this, and having hanging cables as well. Having hanging cables, and then like when something goes along the cable, it sort of looks like it's bulging out of the cable would be fantastic. But I also appreciate that would be a lot more work. That's the sort of thing I could spend 4 days on its own without any of the rest of this game. Water cooler. Okay, the Wet Willie is going to get the Matt Berry voice. Listen, I'm getting older. I don't know what else to say. People just stand around me all day. Blah 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 blah. You can only hold it in for so long. This. The idea of a water cooler getting sick of listening to chit chat is very, very good. It's very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type humor going on here. Oh my goodness. Mate. You made like a little dexterity game out of trying to find the gap in that rush. It's a very silly mixture of things. So one thing I would say about this game, if we were going to like take this design seriously and try and turn it into a full thing, because I think this has a lot working for it. I think a lot of the kind of graphic design of the interface in this is very beautiful already. I mean, but we are balancing the kind of logic puzzle of a Zachtronics game with a little bit of twitch and like reacting to the thing very, very quickly. And I think if you wanted to do that in a way that was accessible and like would potentially have a bigger audience, then you would really, really need to eliminate as much of the text on screen as possible, and make it easy to read as well. So down here where it says don't get too wet, like anything that could be replaced with iconography or pictures would be really good in this, because as soon as you make a game into a real-time type thing where people are having to respond and react, then asking people to read in that situation is not great. But yeah, this is already pretty neat. It's very enjoyable. But I think I need to restart that one because of my big old leak. I took a big old leak on the floor right at the start. How do I restart this one? But yeah, Zachtronics mixed with a slight dexterity game is very neat. It's slightly maddening, but okay. I already got it wrong. I can't find the restart button. When I press escape to try and restart it, it just minimizes my thing. Okay. Oh yeah, of course you click them to clean up. Yeah, okay. Of course. That was the bit I was getting wrong. I forgot that you could clean them up. Because I hadn't really been doing it in the previous levels. You know what would be great as well? If we had like a little vacuum cleaner mechanic for that. Like you drag it in from the side and it goes and picks them all up. Because then you could have an upgradable vacuum cleaner.
They told me I don't know how to rock, but I know how to rock. You know what rock is, right? I don't even know what good means on this puzzle, man.
What is happening here? We've got Christianity symbols. Somehow make some music that everyone likes is how I win. Oh, okay. If I get 15 flying V guitars, I win. If I get more than 5 Christianities or Satanisms, then I lose. Just like in real life. The death metal band are going to play music that goes into the Christian rock band. And I have no idea what's happening on this one, but it's very conceptually fun. Okay, so The Exorcist. Oh, The Exorcist takes rock out and turns rock into Christian rock. Is this Corn Simulator? It's so silly, I love it. So if I put these in here, these acoustic guitars that are popping out of here, they'll get turned into green music and Satan's. And then I can plug that back into itself and it will turn Satan's into rocks. This is so... When you try and make something more abstract with this, like music, the sort of weird metaphorical stuff that's going on in the player's head to work out what this represents is very, very... That's very funny to me. It sort of tickles my brain in a particular way that I find very amusing. I think there's always something when you have, like, resources in a game that are an immaterial resource. They do it in Graveyard Keeper where you get faith and it's like a big glowing ball and you can carry it around and stuff and then you can spend it on different stuff, but it's like it's a physical thing in your inventory. I find that kind of stuff very funny. There's something about the kind of mechanical slapstick of converting immaterial objects into physical objects in games and back that I find very funny. That is Hotwire Hospital. Well done, Cheese on Cheese. That is a very very smooth entry for 4 days worth of work. You know, you can see all sorts of little things in that game that could be improved and expanded upon, but it works very well as it is. So yeah, good execution of the idea there, and just very, very charming. Loop Cell next. Who was this? Mojo Monkey. Was this a team? I saw one of the folks was working on this. They said it was their first go with pixel art as well, I think, which is neat. Lovely to see firsts. Escape the infinite loop. You are a lone prisoner trapped in a high-security intergalactic facility. But this isn't just any prison. It's a mind-bending labyrinth where every wall is a portal and every exit is an entrance. Welcome to Loop Cell, a top-down puzzle game designed to challenge your perception and spatial reasoning. Okay. Cheese, that was your first game jam. Excellent. I mean, you got a lot done in 4 days. Immaterial personification. We love a bit of immaterial personification. Yeah, the thing I like about that last game as well, it does... I mean, Zachtronics games do this as well, but it sort of tells a story about the world outside the screen through this simple set of mechanics and one tiny little bit of character work. That's very good when you can pull it off. I'm throwing my hat. Why am I throwing my hat? Can I use the gamepad? Have I got a hologram hat? Okay, okay. Look at that lovely shadow. Turning the Pac-Man wraparound logic into a whole game. Uh-oh. That's such a smart idea. That's really, really, really smart. I feel like someone must have done this before, but I haven't personally seen it before. And it's yeah, it's very nice. Okay, we need to throw our hats, don't we? Is there a directionality to how I throw my hat? Do I need to... Is that because I'm trying to play it with the gamepad? Oh yeah, you do it with the mouse, okay. So, if I go up here and shoot it down that way, does that work? Yeah. The hat is a bit glitchy, but it is a good extension of the kind of core focus on the screen edge looping. Yeah, if you want, guys, if you've got a URL, I don't know if YouTube will let you post them or not. I don't have a formal way of anyone posting them unless you're in our Discord, but if it will let you post it, then post it in the chat and I will add it to the list in a moment. There we go. Whee! That was a bit more challenging. I have to do all of them. Can I do that one through the wall? The hat collision is really it's not happy, is it? The kind of... It's got some sort of thuds when it goes through things that feel quite good though. Look at that. That's neat. Excuse me. What on earth was that? The kind of boomeranginess of the hat is making it a bit more challenging to... It's got very good sound effect choice when the hat hits things. It's like kind of dull thud that works very well for what it's supposed to make you think of. But yeah, to be honest, the hat glitch does break the puzzle a little bit because it sort of throws your judgment out quite badly. But it's neat. It's a decent idea. Like, there's lots of parts of this that are very well executed. I just think that hat probably caused you more trouble than you were expecting and took longer to get it working, and that's just what happens. It's just what happens in game jams. Sometimes your hat goes wrong. Right, I'm going to move on to the next one though, particularly because that music loop is quite repetitive. I like that one. Very good execution of that idea. Just a bit ropey on the hat mechanic. Trying to judge the angle, because when you throw the hat out of the screen to come in on the other side, trying to judge the angle of that and where it's going to appear is like hurts your brain quite a bit. It's almost like you need the I think they did it on Angry Birds. Like when you fail, they give you a dotted line or something. There's quite a few games that do that, and I feel like I need that in that game at least initially. That's cool. That was cool. Can't play it for too long because it was just not responding the way I'd expect. This is growing stuff. Growing stuff. This is Ella. Ella, was it you that made the... Ella's working on the Goblin Cookery deck builder thing, which is incredibly charming. So I can see a bit of a theme in Ella's games from what I've seen so far, which is like very cute presentation, but also like very, very mechanically focused. Sorry, I don't think chat is set up for posting links, and to be honest, I don't think there's a way that I can turn that off. I think there's a YouTube auto moderation thing. What we could do is, if you've got Blue Sky, you can send me the link on here. If you send me a link on my Blue Sky profile, and then I will check that in a minute. And if anyone Blue Skyed me a link, then I will play it. But it doesn't seem like we can get links to work over chat. I will check our Discord as well and see if anyone submitted at the last minute. But those seem to be the only options. And sorry if you don't have Blue Sky. I don't use Twix anymore. We're holding the left mouse button on a little square. Okay. I'll sow some seeds. There's a clock. I water them. Oh, I pulled away before that one was fully watered. That was frustrating. I do communism on this one. I pick up the carrot. I do some more communism over here. Oh, this is oddly satisfying. Yeah, the only thing I would say is, from a UX perspective, if you pull away before that bar is finished. Oh no, it's okay there. If I do it that one was okay. When I did it with the watering, it sort of stopped, and then I had to start it again. Oh yeah, it looks like just the end goes through. I didn't meet the quota. Let me try that again in a second. So, what goes before that in the link? So if I were to put itch.io, would that do it? No. Alas. Again. The communism is just the harvesting symbol. I was just being the goofball. I only need to get one carrot. Oh no, I need to get 6, okay. This is strangely manic for what it is. I don't know why I've got the quota, but I have a strange desire to want to do more than I've been asked to do. Okay. So, yeah, if we take the URL from jam onwards, let's see if that works. So if we do itch.io/jam, does that work? No. What I'll do, this isn't going to work for people on Twitch, but I'm going to go make a post. You have precisely 30 minutes to post a link to your GMTK Jam game in the comments here. I don't know if they'll get auto-modded out, but hey. Dem's the breaks. Them is the breaks. There you go. Try posting them there. Endo, you've got a live stream in your time zone. I know. Doesn't happen very often, but we got a very rare Saturday where I could do an evening one. Right. So we can get corn now, or we can time lock a plot. I want to do that. I want a chance to harvest an extra plot when completing a harvest. Sure. These are all the sorts of things that would need like very specific iconography if it was a bigger game, so that you could kind of learn them easier. You know, like this is double sickles and this is, I don't know, but you know, just sort of allows you to respond to it quicker because you can see the image, and once you know what rules the image corresponds to, you can make choices quicker, that kind of thing. We're just getting some carrots. Got to get them carrots. This is a game of furious clicking, and I can't work out what order to do things in to make it faster. I also don't know what the time lock has done. This is neat. This is a very neat little experiment. It's very strange though, because it looks incredibly simple, but it feels like it's like there's an approach to game development where you're just doing everything from scratch, where the game is like a totally brand new set of interactions, and this looks like it should be. When I was the first studio I worked at in mobile was just when all of these like post cookie clicker incremental games had come out, and you'd have something like this where you had like a bunch of little city blocks and you clicked on them to upgrade them. It looks like it's going to be that, and then it doesn't feel like that at all, but that's because of the time. Making an incredibly cute farming game with this aesthetic and then putting a really harsh time limit on it is very amusing to me. But yeah, I like that. I'm not any good at it. So let's check out Natustria. Let's see if this is working. Has it let us any? Yeah, okay. We'll try those in a minute. Natustria. Each phase begins by giving you 12 buildings. Your goal is to place them near resources that your buildings can make use of to maximize your points. Buildings are destroyed after each phase, but they leave behind new resources with a large radius that can be used in the next phase. That's why I always say, you know, when someone's house gets destroyed and they're out on the street, I say, don't worry, your house left behind new resources with a large enough radius that can be used in the next phase. And people tend to find some comfort in that. Earn enough and you'll advance to the next phase. Keep going until you reach the end. Left mouse button, place buildings. Okay. So we're doing some board gamey tile laying type stuff. There's one button, which is what I like. I think game jams generally, I think you should aim to have one button in your game for every like 2 days you get to work on it. You know, if you have an 8-day game jam, you can have 4 buttons, or you can have a very polished game with 2 buttons. That's a completely arbitrary thing that I just made up, but it might have some truth to it. Place buildings near useful resources to... Okay, so we're placing buildings and then capturing the stuff around them, and that's what you can see all these resources piled around. Okay. Environment refresher consumes all nearby resources to generate points. Though they yield fewer points than with other buildings. Will generate random resources in the next phase around the building. Okay. So this is like just clears out stuff. That little number is telling me what? How many MacGuffins it's near? If there are chemicals nearby, they're consumed to generate points. Which ones are chemicals? Is it these brown? Yeah, okay. So anywhere with lots of chemicals over there. I feel like I'm in a enviro-friendly 90s cartoon, like the raccoons or something. If there is trash nearby, they are consumed to generate points. What is trash? Is the grey things? Yeah, okay, over there. This is already a nice mix of things that I find quite pleasing. Environment refresher takes anything. Okay. Chemicals. Oxygen cleanser. Toxic fumes. Are these toxic fumes? Look at these disgusting toxic fumes. Who put these here? Who put these toxic fumes everywhere? Was it you? Have you been ordering things from Amazon that you could have got from a store within walking distance again? Look what you've done. I'll just have to put my oxygen cleanser down. It's alright, I do it as well. But that's because I hate the environment. And I want to hasten the end of all human life on this earth. I don't know if saying that breaks the Twitch TOS. I'm not really up on the Twitch TOS. I don't know if they've banned irony or saying things for comic effect. I don't know. I'll just multi-stream until they kick me off. 100 years later. We don't appreciate toxic fumes here. No, banhammer for the toxic... Whoa! We're jumping ahead in time. The Gaia engine consumes... I need to do a future voice, don't I? Futuristic voice. Fahim, I'm not making a Google form. It's Saturday night. Who's making a Google form on a Saturday night? The Gaia engine consumes all nearby resources to generate points, though they yield fewer points than with other buildings. Okay, this is the same as the environment cleaner. We've just changed the name of them because we're in the future. Is that as social commentary? Nothing really changes, it just gets rebranded. If there are small minerals nearby, they will be consumed to generate points. So this is mechanically very simple, but I could see how using placement and radiuses of things like this could be quite satisfying. And I've seen quite a few games like Hidden Folks and stuff like that try and do kind of Where's Wally, Where's Waldo type hidden object games, and I could see you doing something like this combined with a little bit more fine-grained spotting, trying to spot opportunities and stuff like that. Because if you think of this kind of board game, when it's played as a board game, whether it's like a worker placement game or like a tile placement game like Carcassonne, it is all about looking for opportunities and trying to read the board for opportunities. And there's a pretty good basis for something like that here. It's just not super deep yet, which, again, you're not going to get a super deep game in 4 days. But it is a nice basis for something. It's quite satisfying. I could see people, if you had like a slightly higher fidelity version of this with little creatures and stuff, people would go mad for that. We've got no oh, there's minerals over there. 100 years later, we're going even further into the future. I only play games that I've dreamt about. Basically, every night I dream a sequence of letters and numbers, and then I wake up in the morning and I recall them. I paste them into a web browser, and that sometimes lands me on a game. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes to, like, you know, somewhere terrible. But that's just the nature of the internet nowadays. It's like mostly terrible. But yeah, sometimes just games come to me in a dream, and then I find them, hunt them down. I say I must play that game that I dreamt about last night. The loop had to end at some point. Yeah, that was like conceptually nice. I like the theme. I love deep time sci-fi. I love the kind of cheerful nihilism of stories that are just like, yeah, everyone dies, but everything keeps going. There might not be any humans in 1,000 years, but there'll be a thing with some leaves on it. I appreciate that. I like the board gaminess. I like looking around the map. I could see that being the basis. It's not deep enough to be a game in its own right. It needs some other stuff, but it's quite satisfying to do in its own right. Let's check out Loopwalker. Guys, if you've got a game you want me to check out, go on youtube.com/indie game clinic. There is a post on there in the community posts. You can post your link to the /jam onwards, and then I will get the next ones synced up to look at in a minute. Synced up? That's not what. Queued up. That's the word. I only play dream games, yeah. Basically, if your game is not your dream game, I'm not interested. I mean, I joke. So YouTube channel blew up recently. I mean, it was doing okay, but last week it's kind of just doubled in the amount of people watching it at any given time. And that means that I'm getting lots of comments on old videos that I haven't thought about for ages. And the Dream Games video has had some interesting comments on it. And I think it's gone across some language barriers where what people don't understand is that I'm not against people building their dream game. I'm against the rhetoric of dream games and people going on about how their game is their dream game in order to try and make it seem important to other people, right? The actual dream game thing of like making the game you want to play is 100% what I want people to do. I want to see less people trying to make games in genres they don't like or understand because someone has told them that's hot right now, that's what you should make because that will make you successful. Most of the time that's a misinterpretation of that kind of advice anyway, because when someone says, oh, this game is easy to succeed at, they're often not telling you go and make one of those. They're trying to point you towards the characteristics of that kind of game that make it an easy game for indies to play. So, you know, I've seen Chris Zukowski talk about this loads. He will unpack why a crafty buildy game is a better fit for a small indie studio than a Souls-like with loads of like slick animation and really like frame perfect collision stuff going on in it. And he's trying to point to these general traits of like, this is why this type of game is easier to execute with a small team and this type of game isn't. And people just filter all of that out because they don't want to think for themselves. And then they just go, smart, important person told me do X, don't do Y. And it's like, no, you're leading a project, right? Even if you're just making a game for 3 months, you're in charge here. You're the boss. You're still supposed to have the ideas, come up with the business strategy for what you're doing, and so on. So anyway, I think people should make their dream game. I just don't think people should use the rhetoric of dream games to try and make their game seem more interesting or important than it is, because making a game that you want to play is like the foundation of indie game development. It's not like a special different thing. It's just what indie game development is when you're not like working for a larger team or a publisher or anything. It's like yeah. But that said, if you're making a dream game, I am here to crush your dreams, because it's the only thing that brings me any happiness in this world. We're gonna go loop walking. I'm already loving the visual style and the music combo here. If you know me already, you will know I love a bit of psychedelic 90s jank. If it looks like something from Nickelodeon or MTV like animations in like 1994, then I'm bang on it straight away. Endo's making a nightmare game. That sounds amazing. Is it a game where all of your teeth fall out? I mean, that's Inscription, isn't it? Fartfish, I will try and remember to check the Discord as well. I will prioritize the Discord people because you give me money. And if there's one thing I've learned in this world, it's you should prioritize people who give you money.
This is Emmett, an experienced Loopwalker. He journeys through twisted loops, unraveling loop knots to keep the paper time continuum rolling.
Hi, Emmett.
Oh, we're doing like Game of Life Loop Hero. Is that what this is? Drag and drop your tiles onto the board. Plan your path. Each tile can help Emmett in different ways. Okay. So we're doing some sort of programming thing on a loop that is designed to look like a board game, but is going to sort of generate some kind of incremental big money type thing. So I'm getting, like, just from glancing at this, I'm getting some weird roll and move board game, Game of Life Monopoly thing mixed with a incremental programming game. We've got points and we've got dollars. Are they the same thing? Yeah, it says score and earn. They are different things. Okay. There's my dollars. There's my score. Do I need dollars to buy the tiles? Very satisfying clicky draggy. We got this. What happens if I just put all of the stuff up to the shop? What happens when I land on the shop? I don't know yet. I don't know. Mate, go. Where's the dice? Where are they? Ah, okay. Yeah, it's a great shader. Cosmic, that sounds cool. Stealth game with fights based around stealth. Yeah, I always hated it when, I mean, Deus Ex Human Revolution got some flack for that. It's like, oh, you can stealth most of the game, and then there are boss fights where you have to boss fight it. Okay. Play until the remaining loops reach 0. Am I supposed to have auto roll off? Am I supposed to keep building the board? I think having auto roll on at the beginning is a little bit confusing. So is it when I go on draw, I get these extra tiles into the middle? This is great. This is I'm liking this a lot. Wait, is this based on Monopoly Go? Is this like, what if we made Monopoly Go into an indie game instead of a predatory free-to-play game? Was that the thinking here? Okay. Monopoly Go is very much like this. So the blue tiles are the ones that let you do the real organization of the board. I'll start each level with a loop. I don't know what that's going to do. Your total score is halved now. Why would you do that to me? Roguelike Monopoly deck builder. I used to do this exercise. I did it at a games expo once where it was called Morphopoly. We took a Monopoly board and basically every time the players went round, they were allowed to change the house rules. And I just sat there like a mad professor and watched them because it's a really interesting social experiment to see what different groups of people change the house rules to. Like if you get tweens, they always try and house rule in like things to embarrass each other. Like when you land on this thing, you have to run around the table screaming or something like that. And other people try and be more clever with the mechanics of it and stuff. But we would just have it so you shuffled in or out a house rule each time you went round. And yeah. The presentation is great. The approach to color is very, very good. Just like we can see immediately, yellow is money. How do I get my multiplier up? I've got like a purple multiplier up here. Back 2? If I put that there, then I land on that and I can go back and get that money again. But I can never take the shops off of where they go. I want that back 2 to have a chance to land you back on the $10 piece. Okay, I'm going to do one round where I think about this properly, and then I'm going to move on to the next game before I get too lost in this, because this is very, very much a thing I could spend a lot of time fiddling with. Okay. Back 1 stops movement and move back 1. Triggers even when passing by. Okay, that's interesting. So we can do that, and we can put a back 2 behind it, so whenever you're about to go past that, you will always go back onto that one, and then you'll always go back onto that one. So can we create some sort of and because you don't add the dice rolls together, you move once and you move the other time, the dice rolls make you hit 2 tiles, so you can actually move 1 space, which you can't do in Monopoly. When you have 2d6 and you add them together, you get a probability bell curve that starts at 2 and ends at 12. But having 2 separate rolls of 6 just means you have an equal amount of chance of going anywhere. Okay. I don't have enough money for that. Can we get it broken here if we get a forward 2 and a back 2 and boing between them? Is that a thing that can happen? Okay, I'm just going to put random stuff down for the rest of it and just... It feels like one of the potential problems is you spend a lot of time planning for stuff that just doesn't have a very high probability of happening at all. But there are ways you can mitigate that as well. Why can't I move that bit on there? Oh, it's... Ah, okay. These are the ones I can actually do stuff with. Lose all money on Void but score 1,000 points. Earn 1 landing on a draw checkpoint. Shop is cheaper. Let's go for the cheaper shop. Yeah, I've just been I've been making a game that has these kind of relics in, and I just it's really funny how every game we've started calling relics power-ups, but I guess they have a slightly different calling power-ups relics, but they do have a slightly different vibe to them. But I just realized how quickly you can make loads and loads of these, because often it comes down to a rule exception in one line of code. So as soon as you start adding these things and you have the inventory system for them, it's just like a boolean to say, do I have this relic? And then one line of code changes, like modifies everything for that rule. And you can make quite a lot of those kind of power-ups very, very quickly, I've found, with what I'm working on at the moment. That's neat. I could play that for a very long time and still not understand what's going on. I like that. I'm just going to check our Discord first, and then I'll check the ones in the YouTube thing. Fartfish. Best screen name. Oh, it says Jamadoo Games. Let's check this one out. Fartfish, are you gonna do another boss rush jam? Because I would maybe like to do one of those. I like a boss rush. I've added relics to Dirt World, yeah. I've added bull horns that allow you to smash treasure pots by sprinting through them. That's quite fun. Yeah, it's a really fun design process, because you add a feature, you add a limitation to the feature, and then you add a relic that breaks the limitation. So at the moment, I just added like torches. You can pick up a torch, you can find a campfire, light a torch at a campfire, and then use the torch for things. But the torch only lasts for about 30 seconds. You can like throw it up in the air and trigger things by throwing it, but it doesn't last very long. But if you've got a certain relic, then it makes the torch magical, and it has like a pink fire and it doesn't go out, right? That's the kind of thing. I just kind of create this chain of like, here's something you need to do in the game, here's the limitations around that, and then here's this relic that's going to be quite rare and you won't get it very often, but it will break that limitation in some way. But yeah, they're just super quick to implement, because you're just building an exception to a rule, and it's only a couple of lines of code each time.
Tonight, Shredmill, your favourite blood sport, broadcast across every screen from the slums to the spires. Tonight, a new challenger enters the loop. Will they survive the crumbling, endless track? It's giving Speedball Brutal Deluxe vibes, but maybe with some racing. It's time to skate or die. AD, arrows to move, space to jump. Okay, we are... Oh, am I going to loop back around and have to deal with that purple trail that I've just left on the ground? Is that what's going on here? So yeah, it's showing us our loop. I like what you've done with the track, where it kind of makes it look rounded, but it's not really. So we're going to go back through the level, and I guess the purple stuff is going to be in our way this time. That's neat. Patching the holes in the loop increases max health by 1. I'm going to go for the max health. Oh, I didn't get enough coins. That was a very nice way of building that menu selection into the game without breaking from the character controls. I really like that. These are some very sort of Cal Arts looking goblins. Ah, I see. Okay, so the purple is like 1 level of damage to the track, and then when I go over it again, it makes actual holes. That feels quite forgiving. This is a great idea, guys. It feels pretty good to play as well.
Yeah, I'll get a heal. This is already very, very, like, polished. Very well scoped. Every, like, little interaction, bit of feedback, like taking damage and stuff, feels very nice. $123rd? I definitely did better than 123rd. I can't believe that. Even Magic Pillow did better than me. I'll give it another go. Do you do all the pixel art for this fartfish? So I can kind of see some style consistency between this and your roguelike. Which is basically like cute dark. Is that a thing? Cute dark and you like purple. A fish after my own heart. I too enjoy purple and cute dark things. That's why my... No. Purple is the best. It's one of the best colours. Used to be illegal to wear purple in some places. If you weren't of the right class. Imperial colour. We're going to patch the loop? No, we're going to track... if you put a coin magnet in a game, I'm always going to choose it over other things, even if it's not the practical choice. It would be quite nice if there was a bit of a kind of swoosh sound when you change direction. 131st. It doesn't even respect me enough to ask me my name. Sorry, this is the whole stream now. Goblin mines love a... You know what? I'm going to do one more try of that. I find it very satisfying. I love a game with one button but lots of things to think about and respond to. I enjoy that. Because here we've got the enemies, we've got obstacles caused by our own previous loop, and then we've got treasure to collect. That's quite a lot to process. And I often find in an action game, it's more interesting to give people 4 different things to process and like prioritize than to have like 5 times as many of the same thing. Like, you know, Flappy Bird situation where it's just the same pillars and you just respond to them and they get faster and faster is not as interesting a kind of a textural thing to experience with your brain as looking at a screen with 4 or 5 similar things going on, but you have to interpret them all and respond to them. There's probably some sort of technical, psychological term for that, but it's Saturday, which means I'm not allowed to do any sort of technical or academic terminology today. Because it's against my religion. The goblin religion. I pray at the temple of the Cal Arts Goblin. We all have a Cal Arts Goblin deep inside us. Can I say that? Is that against Twitch terms of service? Saying that we have a goblin inside of us? I feel like any nudity in that phrase is purely in the mind of the hearer and interpreter. This is the problem with trying to play a lot of jam games in one sitting, is you're just always going to end up locked in on the thing that has really nice game feel and for as long as possible. Look, I just want to be a little sort of gender nondescript Final Fantasy wizard in a hoodie going along on a skateboard. Let me live my life. This is what Final Fantasy wizards look like when they're not on duty and they're not in their uniform. Good. Shredmill's good. That's my review of Shredmill. Is good. Right, let's see what we've got. It looks like you can post the whole link, but it kind of depends. We'll go back to the start. Why does it do that? It says they're not in why are they not in chronological order? Newest first. There we go. That's how that works. Let's check this one out. How do I... What's the... Is it that? Do it like that? With only one dash there? Well, hey. Oh. Yeah, no, that worked. That worked. Subject 004. I think we're going to get something very different this time. We're helping Subject 4 to lie, learn, and loop his way to freedom. There he is. This has got some Mobius vibes. Giving me Mobius. If you don't know who Mobius is the French cartoonist that is responsible for the art style. Well, the art style in Sable is based on Mobius. Mobius also designed all of the human spaceships in the original Alien film. And that's an interesting one because people often just get lost in Geiger being involved with Alien. But they had two different artists. And they were like, you design the alien stuff, you design the human stuff. Very interesting how those kind of ensembles come together when it comes to designing things like monsters and costumes and stuff in films. Of course it was based on the Final Fantasy Black Mage. They love to skateboard. Okay, it's not Mobius in the game. It's pixel art. Where am I? I open my eyes, I find myself in a room. It does not seem familiar. I don't remember if I'm supposed to be here. Actually, who am I? My head is empty. I don't remember a name or a past. Okay. Is this amnesia? Kyle, I basically, because no one can submit links in the chat, I put a post. If you go onto the channel homepage and look at community, there's this post that says you have 30 minutes to post a link, and that seems to allow people to post links. So we're going from there at the moment. I don't know why, but I really want to get out of here. This is a lot of text to say 2 sentences worth of stuff.
Ah, you're awake. Good morning, Four.
Who is this? Tim Curry.
How are you feeling?
This man, he's smiling like he's seen me several times before. Maybe he's a friend. Who are you? The man appears to sigh in relief, then gives me a reassuring smile. Your memories were wiped. Okay. They call me Warden. Don't worry, I'm your friend. Had an accident that wiped my memories. Your name around here is Subject 4. Why do I have to be called Subject 4 if I've had my memories wiped? Shouldn't you be telling me my real name? You said it was an accident that wiped my memories. This is already very sus.
Everyone in this facility is here to help you. We want you to relax so you can recover in mind and body.
What sort of accident was I in? Oh, it's better if you don't know about that. Well, can I at least know my real name? Because calling me Subject makes it sound like it wasn't an accident.
For today, there's not much we need you to do. Just rest.
No, I don't remember anything. This music loop is too short and repetitive for what's going on in this game. I mean, it would be too short and repetitive regardless of the game, but I'm finding it very difficult to read and listen to this at the same time. There's certain points where you need ambient music to be really unintrusive, and when people are reading is one of those. And this is a lot of reading, which I'm probably not going to do much of out loud because... The music's playing twice now, guys. Okay, I'm going to skip on from this one because I don't think we're going to have a good time with it. Thank you for submitting it, whoever that one was. It was... Canal Did I Know. I would like to give your game a proper try, but that audio bug is going to make it really, really grating to continue, and I already don't feel very up for reading that much text. I just want to play a game. Yeah, I just think IF jams are better for making IF because people want to play a game when they play a game jam game and not read a story. Generally speaking, I think there's people that are much more agnostic about it, but when I'm running through loads of games, I want like a quick 5-minute look at the gameplay. I do not have enough time to invest in a story like that. So unfortunately, you know, unless there's a hint very early on that there's gameplay and story rather than just an interactive fiction, I'm going to skip through stuff like that. Submissions are now closed. If you submit a game now, then you will be visited. I won't tell you by whom, but you will be visited. You've been warned. We've got as Evil Simon Says, this looks like. Evil Bop It. Who?
Welcome, lucky player, to a fun game of Simon Says. Hope you were ready to have some fun. The rules are simple. Just watch the sequence playing on screen, and then try and repeat the sequence perfectly. Let's start with something easy.
Okay. This is the most evil Bop It I've ever seen.
Great job. Let's move on. Great job. Let's move on.
This is going to go Pony Island on me, isn't it? It's just got such a baseline ominous vibe. This music and this kind of crunchy visual style is just telling me that this is not what it's initially presenting as.
You're doing great. We would love to add you to our online leaderboard at this time. Please input your name. Thank you. We can now resume the sequence where you left off.
Your game called me father.
Uh-oh. That was the wrong sequence. Better luck next time.
Was that a meta joke about what it's like to play an indie game demo? Because the sequence went star, triangle, square. See, I didn't use the colours there because I'm being colourblind friendly. The sequence went star, triangle, square. I pressed star. The game interrupted me by asking me to put my name in. And then when I came back, I tried to put the sequence in from the start and press star again. And it said no. Because I didn't press triangle because we were still on the second. This feels like it's analogous to nearly every indie game demo I play that's an overcooked prototype full of wishlist requests. Are you doing a social commentary using a sort of Five Nights at Freddy's looking Bop It game? I know it's not Bop It, I know it's Simon Says, but I made a mistake. When someone thinks that your game is a deep social commentary on something, they throw you a bone and say, is this a deep social commentary? You're supposed to just say yes. You're supposed to say yes, that's what I intended it to be. When someone compliments you and says, this is a very clever observation about this problem in the world, and you say, no, sorry, it's actually just a Simon Says.
Welcome, lucky player, to a fun game of Simon Says. Hope you were ready to have some fun.
Okay.
The rules are simple. Just watch the sequence playing on screen, and then try and repeat the sequence perfectly. Let's start with something easy. Great job. Let's move on.
It's not a metaphor for depression. It's a product of depression. That's what all games are.
Uh-oh. That was the wrong sequence. Better luck next time. Welcome, lucky player, to a fun game of Simon Says. Hope you were ready to have some fun. The rules are simple. Oh, you actually did it. Great job. Let's move on.
Why is there a weeb in my Simon Says? How to get in there? I'm just trying to play with my Simon Says and someone's trapped a nerdy little Bishonen in there. Shouldn't you be in a yaoi?
Having trouble socializing? This game could be a great lost. Yippee!
This is great. I appreciate you even if you do a very bad job. That's it. Tell me I'm a good boy.
Having trouble socializing? This game can be a great icebreaker. You seem stressed. Let's take a short break, shall we? You've done an okay job, I suppose. You know, maybe this game isn't for you.
It's so good. Absolutely no. I'm never filling out a survey.
Stopping now would be a good idea. Probably should quit while you're ahead.
Look at the background asset. Yes, it is. It's very Pony Island kind of energy. I do think it almost feels a bit too human. This feels like one of those projects where, I don't know if this was a team of people or just one of you, but it feels like this doesn't fit the style, and it's not in a cool, charming way. Like, I feel like if the character of the whatever's going on here was a bit more ambiguous and looked less like a human, it would be more affecting, you know? It feels a bit more like you've got an artist and this is their style and that's what they do, so that's what they're going to do, you know?
I scream, you scream, we all scream. Are your palms sweaty? Knees weak? Arms are heavy? Let's take a short break.
No.
Look at you go. Do you really think you can see this through? Do you really think you should? Nothing like ice cold fear on a nice summer day. Do I feel a breeze coming? Or is it just the cold hand of death? Uh-oh. Looks like you're still going. I should probably warn you. There will be consequences for your actions.
Da 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 da.
Wouldn't you like to meet your maker?
Great. Wonderful. Yeah, that's superb. It kind of didn't go anywhere, but yeah, that was very, very funny. Well done on that one, Mr. Denji and gang. Itch. Whoa. Nuclear launch codes. What have we got next? Fahim. Cat shift operator. This looks immediately appealing. A looping puzzle game about performing looping bit shift operations with cats. Oh no. Oh no. This is going to be one of those, like, what was it called? Human Resource Factory or Human Resource? There was like a really horrible binary programming game that I played a few years ago. Human Resource Machine. I think maybe you're going to subject me to something like that now, which is going to immediately break my brain and make me look like an idiot. Looks like it's almost time for your next meal. Move clockwise or counterclockwise with A or D. Here's your food. Oh, not again. You can shift depending on ground direction. W shift along positive axis, S shift along negative axis. Oh yeah, that's great. That's cool. Very cool. If I had a PhD in comp sci, I would have a slightly more useful PhD. But they're all not that useful. Ah! excellent, excellent wonky music. Cats are statistically most likely to be in the room with the most boxes. I'm moving a box. Sort of makes me want to move the cat to the swing of the beat. Ouch. How am I supposed to shift the box? I can't shift the box, can I? Ah. Very cool. It's quite intuitive. Really, really intuitive. Sofa, cat tower, ceiling fan. It's really intuitive, very simple, really very easy. Anyone could do this. Immediately fails in the most miserable way possible. Aha! That's it. That's how we do it. Oh, yes. Very, very cool. Attic, cupboards, wardrobes, Narnia. Did you censor Narnia? I would like to think that that's not because Narnia is a trademark, but you censored it because Narnia is full of Christian fundamentalist propaganda. As we all know. Moving the cat by pressing A to move rightward across the screen hurts my brain a little bit, but you do get kind of used to it. What is going on? My brain has been completely broken. Hang on. Hang on. The kind of orange bar does a really good job of communicating the mechanic. Because if you couldn't see that, it would be kind of hard to remember how that shift works. But the orange bar sort of makes it clear what's going to move to where. Ah. I was looking so hard at the starting rectangle that I just completely neglected to look at anything else in the level. Ouch. Why would you do that to me? That is very cool. This one did quite highly, right? Cat shift operator. It got very cool game. 23 for creativity. Amazing. Narrative, I'd have given it a higher score for narrative. I will maybe jump back onto these tomorrow and put my vote on them. I don't know if I can actually because I didn't take part. Yes, that is a bit of a brain melter, but it's a lot more intuitive than it looks like it's going to be. Really neat. Spoon. Let's see what Spoon's got in the old spoon. A spoon full of gameplay. Stroll. Stroll, stroll, stroll. Mouse only. Control and R to reset. How many variations on Loop Hero are we going to see? Is this weird camping? Is that related to where we just landed? Nice interaction design. Not super clear what I'm supposed to be thinking about or doing, but some nice shaky here. We all know that person that when you play a board game, they roll the dice for this long. Like, mate, it's a 6-sided dice. There's only 6 things it can be. Rolling it for longer is not going to influence the outcome, and yet here we are. It's just because Jeff loves to roll a dice for a long time. Oh, wait, what's happening? Does that, what? Is this like a dice builder thing that we're supposed to be able to change these? Ooh, that's satisfying. It doesn't look like they've gone on though. It looks like I can build the dice, the die, and change what's on it. Did anyone ever play Dice Forge? So they used to make these rubber Lego dice. I guess they still do for like Lego board games. And then Dice Forge used a similar thing. We can click the dice off the side of a game and off of the side of the click the faces off the side of the dice and replace them. What is this card? I can't really tell what this illustration is of. It looks quite cool. I mean, I guess they're supposed to be places, but it's hard for me to see how landing anywhere in particular is supposed to do a particular thing. I guess this is where I get to make my dice have more stuff on it. Okay, so we're eliminating the 1. So I shouldn't be able to roll 1 again. I love a 6-sided dice that has a 7 on it. We'll take these to the casino. Take these to the casino, my dice with no 1 on and a 7. and then they try and kick me out. And I go, look, you do realise I'm a published game studies academic, right? Do you know who I am? Don't you know? That's what you're supposed to say, isn't it? Don't you know who I am? And they say, no. Get out of our casino with your 6-sided die with a 2 and a 7 on it, and no 1. The dice editing's cool. But yeah, I mean, the problem with just kind of rolling a die and then using the outcome to just move forward in roll and move games is you just don't have any options. So it works very well for like small kids games and family games, but most adults want a bit more to pick from. So, but yeah, I think the fundamental thing of dice building feels nice, and I really like the way that was presented as a UI element where the die kind of folded out. I thought that was a very neat way of doing that, particularly trying to do it in 2D. Very satisfying little way of presenting that mechanic.
I like it. I don't want to play it anymore, but I like it artistically and conceptually.
Corpse loop.
What's this? It's got a... Okay, I'm going to download it. It's going to be an Unreal Engine game that's going to break my webcam.
Currently working on my first Unreal project. Someone else is doing all of the programming, and I'm just making assets in Blockbench and importing them and doing a little bit of level design. Okay, so Circuit Breaker will be up in a minute. I'll play Circuit Breaker first if it has an online version, and then we'll play Corpse Loop when it's finished downloading.
Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, I don't know any game jams. I mean, there are types of game jams where you can have started before the start of the jam, but it's generally not what people mean when they say a game jam, right? So the jam function on itch does get used for other things, like Feedback Quest is an example of that. It uses the jam function on itch, but people can submit the same game every 6 months or however often it runs. That's not really what a game jam is. A game jam is making a game in the time period, or making a thing. It could be a level design jam for another game.
Circuit Breaker. Look at this lovely aesthetic. It's so grey in such a pleasing way. It reminds me of my hopes and dreams. You find yourself in the circuit. Can you escape the machine? Circuit Breaker is a 2D puzzle platformer built for GMTK Game Jam. GMTK. Does anyone know what GMTK is? I keep seeing this everywhere. People keep asking me what I think about GMTK. I don't know what it means. GMTK. Great, massive. I just don't know what that could stand for. A and D are move left and right, space to jump, E to interact, and ESC to pause. GMTK. Oh, look at that. GMTK. What could that stand for? GMTK. Ooh. I always feel trepidation when I read the phrase puzzle platformer, because they're a type of game that when they're good, they're really good. But often people just start making a platformer and then they go, oh, it's a puzzle platformer. And like, what are the puzzles? And it's like, well, you stand on a button and then a door opens. Oh, great. But immediately inspired confidence with this. Look, we move a platform around on a little path by our little guy running on a treadmill.
And the thing is, I bet implementation-wise that was not super difficult. It's just a path. And it's got a really nice kind of floaty thing. When I run, it sort of slides a little bit. So there's a little bit of a kind of slightly slippy feel to it, which is lovely. Lovely. Buttery biscuit base. Go make tough curry. Yeah, the camera is weird. It's sort of squishing up at the end. You know what would make it even better if there was like a vignette so it was darkened on the end, so it was like on a round rolling thing. I can feel very like ambivalent about this kind of color palette, like the limited color palette thing, because sometimes I think it makes games very hard to read, but the contrast is good on this. And we've got those background details. Well, some of them are foreground details, these pipes that are in front of things. But they're sort of translucent, and they're a very sort of... it's not very colourful at all. But you've got that kind of slightly blue-grey in the background, and then this more desaturated sort of ashen grey in the foreground things. They've really thought about where to use their colour and where to use different gradations of grey. The art kind of approach in this is really, really nice. Very, very thoughtful. Very, very thoughtful about colour and visual communication here. And a nice ambient loop that isn't too melodic, so I don't get too irritated from hearing it 4 times in a row.
This must be linked to the symbols above somehow.
It's changing when I move to different points on the screen. I don't know what that means. Probably nothing. Things in games don't mean things. It's just buttons and colours moving around. Can I go over there? It's a little picture. It's a little picture from a scrapbook of the good times when I used to climb up on that thing. I'm supposed to bring a battery. I'm supposed to bring a battery. I've got a battery now. I'll bring it. I'll put it in here. Please, sir. Can I have a battery? It's for my family. They're running out of charge. Please, sir. I'm only on 12%. I've been running on treadmills all day. Please let me charge myself up in your driveway. I'll put battery in there. Ah, that's a battery dispenser. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the works of Franz Kafka. He was a very prolific writer. He wrote a lot of short stories that are often considered to be sort of parables, ruminations on sort of alienation in the modern world, things like metamorphosis and stuff like that. And what I think when I play a game like this is I think, you go back 50 or 100 years, someone like Kafka, someone like Burroughs or someone like that, when they had these feelings of alienation about living in the modern world, they had to write like 100-page book about it, minimum 100-page book, to express how they were feeling. But nowadays, if I want to express how I feel about, being alienated in the modern world, a sense of enemy, then all I have to do is go on this treadmill, press E, and then just hold down D. And there we have it. It's a piece of art that just perfectly sort of encapsulates what it feels like to be alive in 2025. And there's something about the physicality of interacting with it through the keyboard that you do your day job on that just makes it even more meaningful. You're a cog. Beg your pardon? I don't think that's appropriate to call me a cog. We've just met. Oh, a cog. You mean like a gear in a machine? I thought you were misspelling something else. This is wonderful, but I can't be bothered to think about it right now. But I do want to play it. It's also incredibly somber, which is remarkable because it's so cute. You think they could have made the choice to make this much more colourful and it would have felt different, but there's something about the colour scheme and the choice of music that's just giving Aphex Twin. Oh, Toucan, I was joking. I'm on insane levels of irony poisoning, particularly on a stream like this, where it's a bit more of a fun stream. My idea of fun is me sort of acting like a slightly unhinged person that if you were sort of met in a public place, you might kind of back away from slowly. But because it's on the internet, it's okay. That's kind of my idea of fun. Of a fun stream. So if I'm acting like I've misinterpreted something, it's kind of 50-50 whether I've actually thought that or whether I'm just pretending. I'm supposed to bring a battery. Can I get that battery out of there, or is that going to shut the thing that I opened? So I don't know if you've noticed this, but the level is a loop, right? That is where we get our loop. You go round, and as you pass through it, you get little clues, like that one that told me I could go up there and go in that bit. And then you come back round, and then you make use of that knowledge. Wonderful. Yeah, Simon, this is really, really lovely. Really, 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 really evocative. And the kind of the main, I guess it's not the main mechanic, but the kind of the main sort of physical interaction of this just feels so nice. That's video games, folks. The games are being chosen using a modified variant of the I Ching. I'm just casting some coins down here. Okay. It says we should play this one next. Devil's Coil, chosen by the I Ching. Roguelite set in a perpetual nightmare. too many buttons. Right, so I had a hypothesis earlier. My hypothesis was you get a button for every 2 days of the game jam. So if it's a 4-day game jam, then 2 buttons, you're probably in a position to make a decent quality game. When that ratio of buttons to days changes, if you make a 1-button game in 4 days, you're going to have a 200% quality game. If you make a 4-button game in 4 days, you're going to have a 50% quality game. And it just kind of gets exponentially worse the more buttons you add after that. That's my theory. And that theory is correct. And you may have other theories, but I don't want to hear about them. Let's check this out. WASD. Directionals don't count. That's noob stuff. Directions are just doing the same thing in a different direction. Yeah, text input. I mean, who needs text input in a jam game anyway? Okay, we're just doing a straight up hardcore rogue here. We're roguing it. We're roguing it, folks. What would I normally not pick in an RPG? I would never pick a gnome. I'm going to pick a gnome. There I am. That's me. I'm ready. I'm gnoming. I can cast Icicle. I've got a scroll of Find Nearby Escape. I've got a potion of Rejuvenation. And I can cycle my spells. What if I press Q? What does that do? Cycle my spells. I can cycle my consumables. Don't really know what that means. You begin your journey knowing the Icicle spell and sense the treasures held in the dark. I love how evocative these old school roguelikes can be with, like... Is there something about giving people very minimal visual stimulus and just telling them one sentence to set the tone? Something about that just makes me tingly in my rogue bones. Oh, it's a spider. It's an imp. It looked like a spider. Stop, imp. Stop it. I was slain by an imp. Yes, the first time you've seen a roguelike being labelled as a roguelite. Yes. Create a new hero. What button even is that? Mate. I don't know what that button is. Can I click on it? Don't make me have to refresh the whole web browser. Okay, I'm going to be... What's the one that gives me more health so I don't die as quick? Elf. Okay. Yeah, I want to check out... There's this... Fartfish, was it you that recommended that engine that lets you make these? I want to do a series called Unusual Engines where we just find weird code-free game engines and make a game in it for like 4 hours and just see how far we can get. RPG in a box looks quite fun. Oh, look at that. That's a great icicle effect. Look at that. The lesser demon is laughing at me. Why would you do that? I'm going to drink my rejuvenation potion. I died already. Mate, I can't... Ah, okay. It's that button. I'm going to be a human. Look what you've reduced me to. So we're in hell. We're doing a roguelike in hell. We're basically doing Diablo. This is like what if Diablo 1 was made 10 years before. Prism, yeah. The Love 2D roguelike engine. You're standing on a stale biscuit? I'm going to pick that up. I picked up a stale biscuit. Can you believe it? What are those? What are those R's? Plague Hell Rat. Can they get through that grate? I don't think they can. Can I blast them? I'll blast you through the grate. Yeah, loop meter 8%, whatever that means. They don't seem to be able to get through that grate. Hang on there. I've lost some health. I'm going to have some rejuvenation. Yeah, this is pretty good. To be honest, I haven't played a trad one of these for a very, very long time. Look at all of those. The icicle spell seems to like do homing around corners as well, which is a very nice little kind of usability feature, considering, you know, you can't see what direction you're aiming in, so it just sort of picks something for you and blasts it. Why is there so many of you? They seem to explode in a hail of rat bits. Loop 1 reward, primary weapon. Hang on. This has no sound. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me get some ominous sound in. We need some hell music. What's the most hell music I have? Is it gonna? It's opening it on Audacity. I set my computer to automatically open waves in Audacity. There we go. Nice ominous musical loop for roguing in hell. I want to learn Brilliant Beam. That sounds cool. There's some sort of bow there for me. I'll equip that. How do I use my short bow? I'm not familiar with the conventions. It's been a long time. What's that? What's that? What's that yellow thing? Pragmatic Links is a good screen name. I'm just having to icicle the thing because I don't know how to fire my bow. Trad roguelikes, I think, have the most compelling gameplay to UX ratio of just like, if you don't know how to play them, you're not going to learn, but you want to know. One more try. No heroes, please create one. Okay, so I'm going to be an elf called Elf Man. There we go. There's an imp shaman. I come in peace. Oh no, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. There's two of them. No. That looked lovely. I'm not going to get much further than that in the time given, though, because there's just too steep a learning curve. I like how much theme you got into that, even though it was a trad roguelike with ASCII. Just from the colour scheme, it feels like a sort of cartoony hell. Okay. I can stop my ominous music loop now. What's this one? This one is Stuck in a Loop by Dino Squid. I recognise that name. possibly from YouTube comments. I don't know. I made this game for the GMT 2012. I still don't know what GMT is. GMT. How do you even pronounce that? I just couldn't do it the way I needed, but I finished it. So I hope you like it. If you just stuck in a loop, that is pure theme for you all. The game doesn't give instructions, so here's what you need to know. Just try to break the loop that you're stuck on by unlocking new choices. Okay. Hopefully we're not going to get loads and loads of narrative dialogue, because I just, quite frankly, am not in the mood for narrative dialogue. But it might be quite light. It might be more visual. That's cool. I would love to wake up late, but you know, when you're a man approaching 40, you need to go to the toilet after being in bed for 7 hours. So, skateboard. I'll do some skateboard. Tired or visit Stead. Is Stead a pal? I really like this illustration style, the 2-color thing. It's neat. We play some video games. This is locked. Did I have to do something earlier to unlock this? Oh, is it because I'm tired? Because I skateboarded? Wake up early. Go to school. This is not a great choice in terms of just general narrative design. How am I supposed to know what's different about each of these things? Is the first one less respectful because I say their name with a small a? Do homework. Watch TV. Watch horror movie. Tired. It's quite evocative though. I like the illustration. I think developer, if you're watching this and you haven't played Florence, you should definitely play Florence, because I think you'll get a lot out of that if this is the sort of thing you like to make. I mean, this isn't a bad loop to be in. I wouldn't mind going to the skate park and then visiting Stead to play video games. There's worse loops you could be in. Yeah, that's a nice idea. I quite like that kind of slice of life thing when you're starting with the assumption that it's going to be a loop, because then you're not looking for it to be different each day. I've come to bargain. What's this? Oh, look, we've got day 1 model. Thinking about the color coding from the first thing. By the looks of it, game loop. It's the kind of documentation that's actually helpful for a small game. Chaos, Fury, Power, Growth, Order. The 5 genders. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, Corpse Loop. We don't. I'll load up Corpse Loop because that one's been waiting longer. Let me just unzip it. Let me just extract it right into my computer box. Legally Distinct Sorcerer. That's my name. Windows protected your PC from a corpse loop. Start. Gameplay demo. I mean, both? Ooh.
How's it going there, Sheriff? Is it counting time yet? I did no such thing, Sheriff. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about ways to put a good bad old bullet through that tin can you call a noggin. It's been my favorite pastime for 2 days now. I like it a lot, if I do say so myself. You looking at character outside the performing perimeter. And will dispatch units to represent you immediately. Y'all keep sending these armed men, trying to sniff out my life. But I'll tell you, real work only comes from these 5-shooters. Why don't you come down here for a change, Sheriff? Bearing me the honor of punishing me yourself? Analyze the query. I have a stationary unit. Your request has been denied. Please wait yourself and the correction unit arrives. Please refrain from throwing objects at this time.
Please refrain. Please refrain from throwing objects.
I'll have to pay him a visit if I want to get out of here.
I don't know if you get this feeling sometimes, but I feel like I've played something else by this developer and I didn't really look at who it was or what their name was or anything, but there's the vibe of this game that I'm just like, I feel like I've been in this person's head before. There's like a mix of... Yeah, I'll look it up in a minute and see what other games are on their itch, because I just feel like I've played something by this person before. There's something about the aesthetic of it. Hello? What are you doing?
Oh, lucky son of a girl.
Is that me? Such a cool art style. Really, really kind of grungy and weird. Right, that guy shoots me. I can throw things with F, which feels pretty like it could be pretty. Is that my last guy? Is that that's a recording of me the last time I did a thing. Interact with E, throw with F. Like, why would I have a mouse controller, no click, nothing that uses a click? Why is that a thing? Do I have to pick up my previous bodies? Okay, yeah. I'm throwing my previous bodies at things and people. Okay. So I need to die earlier in the loop. And I need to die back here so it's easier to pick me up. This is a cool idea. I can't quite... The range of that shotgun makes it quite hard to die early. So I need to like die in a position where it's easy to pick myself up, or like die as early as possible.
Oh, lucky son of a girl.
So we're getting all of our Super Meat Boy clones running out. And then as soon as one of them dies, I can pick him up and throw him. But yeah, I would have, controls-wise, I would have mapped just clicking and holding onto hold. So you hover over something and click the mouse button, and then you'd release the mouse button to throw it. It would have been a much more intuitive.
Oh, right in my gullet.
Because the thing is... Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Have it. You... Part of the thing, if you think about the ergonomics of the hands in this, E and F are next to WASD, right? So in order to use E, I've already got to take my finger that I would use for moving left and... My finger I'd use for moving right and use it to use E. Okay, which isn't too bad. That's not too bad. But taking my finger off of the directional thing to press F is really awkward. Because I need to press F to throw. And just you use the mouse. Don't, like, you've got the mouse for aiming, so you map stuff onto the mouse if it's... You may as well have the mouse buttons for something, because it's a mouse-controlled game. And if I'm pointing the character's head with the mouse, then I may as well use the mouse for the hands as well. I think there's been a lot of games that are where the kind of people have been inspired by Phasmophobia and stuff like that, and it's like E becomes the default for everything. And E is like a secondary action button after you've used up your mouse controls, particularly in a first-person game, I think. Feels pretty good once you get the hang of it, though.
Oh, that's oil.
I like the... Oh, I'm not going to get past that guy. No. I think the kind of... the gameplay concept and the kind of art style go really well together. It makes those robots feel quite menacing, even though they're kind of... They're quite goofy robots, but they do feel quite menacing because of how like dirty everything looks in terms of the kind of lighting and the textures. Yeah, it's a nice... well, nice isn't the word for it, but it's evocative. And that's difficult to do, and it is one of the things that I think is most important that games do.
Right in my gullet.
The thing that it's important that games do is not be doo-doo. But also, being evocative goes a long way, I think. It's definitely like something that you can get bogged down with too early, and like making something of this quality in a 4-day game jam where you've got some quite unique gameplay concepts and cool art direction and character design. I think that's really, really impressive. It's a bit janky. Definitely would have mapped the controls differently, but I like this. I'm going to stop it now. I really feel like I've played other games that have a similar vibe to that, but it must just be a style that's in vogue. Yeah, it does have Wallace and Gromit vibes. Well, I think AAA games can map things to E if they've got like a reason. You know, the issue isn't using E. The issue is using E when you haven't used the mouse yet, you know? But yeah, I think holding the mouse button down when you're carrying something and then just releasing it to throw would feel nice because it kind of gives that mapping of like holding is holding, right? There's an easy thing to remember there. Okay, I'm gonna put some symbols in some boxes. What's this one called? I've come to bargain. Listen, eyeball. How about some fury? So the first level of all of these things just do the same thing. If I put it in the last slot, it does its level 2 thing. I think we're maybe doing some kind of Yahtzee type thing here, but it's the problem with making games that are based on cards or dice is you really do need to sell the idea of it being cards or dice, because otherwise the benefit you get from that in terms of a player immediately understanding what's going on is gone, right? And I think these are supposed to be tiles that are kind of like coming out of a deck or a bag, but there's no animation or anything to indicate that, so it just makes it kind of feel like a random list of icons. And that's kind of potentially confusing. Randomly boost another random card. They're cards. Cool art. I like that sort of painted, cut paper kind of style. I don't know if this is supposed to be this guy's health bar. But yeah, I don't... There's not a win condition. Yeah, so the main problem I see with this from just a pure gameplay perspective is you've got 5 decisions. You've got 4 decisions and then a big decision. And the 4 decisions you make here don't seem that important. That's upgraded now, so it boosts the next one. It's almost like I'm programming a little sequence of things. The other and whatever I put in the last one gets upgraded, I think. But the only way I can tell what things to upgrade to is by reading that diagram that's on the homepage. It's not in the game. I think the audio is meant to sound like that because the visual filter kind of matches it, but no, I think it's the intended style of the game. It seems like there might be something cool here, but there's just not enough. Did I beat it? Yeah, just not very kind of interesting or well communicated decisions in terms of what I'm doing with those cards there. Maybe we should have a card game jam where everyone makes a deck builder using Tabletop Simulator or something. Have a Tabletop Simulator jam, because I feel like that's a good way to make sure that you've got an interesting interaction before you program anything. Skelly Bones Gets the Milk. That's a great title. I love it when Skelly Bones gets some milk. He can put boxes in time loops. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, I think they were going for like a VHS horror vibe with that game, which is why it had glitchy audio. But yeah, just a bit undercooked in terms of the decisions you're making and how what is happening in terms of the cards is communicated, you know. A rectangle or square on a screen does not a card make. Skelly Bones gets the milk. You know what time it is. Those chords, so emotional. So emotional. leave that open and just randomly synth over people's games. I really appreciate it when you choose music in the key of C major for your game jams, because it makes it a lot easier for me to play a synthesizer over your game, which I think should be something that you consider. You should always consider that when you make a game. It's like, is the key of this music easy for strange men on the internet to play synthesizer over? To my dearest friend, Skelly Bones. I have awakened today to the most severe of tragedies within our household. I opened the fridge in search of some delicious calcium, only to find the milk. All of it gone. This news has sickened me with the most deadly of illnesses, leaving me frozen in shock at the table. As such, I plead to thee, please return to the surface and obtain more milk. I love this setup. It's well documented that skeletons need a lot of milk. Probably on for 30 more minutes, I reckon. Mouse to aim the camera. Sorry, I've got some weird stuff going on with my camera focus. It's always a metaphor. Here we go. Press E to pick up boxes. Press E again to drop boxes. Again, I'm using the mouse. Why am I only using the mouse for pointing and not clicking? It feels great though. It's so nice. Really nice kind of just attention to detail in terms of how the carrying looks and feels when he's got it in his hand. Left click on a box to put it in a time loop. Okay, so it remembers what I was doing with it. That's really good. There's a lot of this in Talos Principle. Oh, I can jump. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Now, if you do a month-long jam, you can have 15 inputs, and it depends what month it is. If it's February on a leap year, you get 28 divided by 2, which is 14 inputs. But remember, directions count as one input because it's just the same thing in four directions. What's going on in this place? Why would I want to do that? Right, I'm a bit lost, but I'm just hoping that this is going to lead to a interesting aha moment in a moment. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on now. Okay, so I wasn't looking at the symbols. So I need to get it up there somehow. Unfortunately, I don't really know how I did that. That's not great. Like, I feel like half of how I solved that puzzle was a fluke. I don't know how to ban the bots from Streamlabs. Sorry if you're the one person in the Twitch chat who is having your experience ruined by inconsiderate, non-human actors. Okay, so in order to get this up onto the next platform, I need to sort of throw it so that it goes up high enough for me to grab it from the next platform up. With the mix of... Oh. The mix of the... Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I pressed the wrong button. There's like a mix of what would you call it? Lateral thinking and physics there that is kind of fun but frustrating at the same time, because I had one puzzle that I did and I didn't understand how I did it. I wouldn't have been able to like the previous puzzle with the symbol up in the higher up portcullis. I wouldn't have been able to work out how I did that. It was a fluke. And then there was a puzzle just then where I could see how I could do it, but the physics wouldn't really let me execute on it. And that's a shame. That's an incredibly charming game. I like the effort that went into the kind of narrative framing of that as well. That kind of really suited the game overall. Yeah, very sweet. Right, I need to get another working link. Oh, come on. itch.io little dude racers. Just let me copy that link. Thank you. Right, I'm going to get these all queued up because managing these links is doing my head in a little bit. I don't know why doing lots of it at once is going to help that, but we'll see. See how many theme tunes we can get going at once. That's what I need to do. Yeah, it feels like in the skeleton game, I needed to throw the box so that it bounced a little bit, and then loop it, and then get up onto the next platform, and then while it was sort of bouncing, grab it from that platform, and then create a new loop where I dropped it down onto the It's like I can see how the puzzle works, but then I can't execute on it. And yeah, that was just like, I know that there's a good game in there, but I'm not having fun with it immediately. Running around a track while trying to escape a crippling debt to the mafia. There are no rules on the track. All that matters is the finish line. Hiring dudes, firing dudes, upgrading dudes, watching dudes race, paying dues, beating dudes up. Little dude racing. Sounds a bit like the betting game that you get in UFO 50. Time for you to pay off your debt, coach. See you after the race. Sorry, little toucan. Was it that one? Yeah, cool. Hacking the mainframe. There we go. Well done, coach. After next race, you'll owe us £1. Oh, they've become English Mafia now. Stats. Upgrade dudes. Who's got glasses? Interface here is really nice. So I can click on these people to hire them or fire them. This one's not got anything particularly good about them, so I'm going to drop them down a hole. I'm going to give this person some shoes. Okay. I really love the character sprites. Here are really nice. Color choices are really good. Interface kind of dragging and stuff is fun. Look how big Sam is. Sam is hench. But I have insufficient funds. It's not a massive level of control in terms of what you're doing here, but... I think if you get the big muscular dudes, they punch the other ones more often, or I think they're the only ones that knock the other ones over, actually. So each colour team has a muscular punching dude. I can't afford anything else. See, this kind of is where a game like this kind of sucks for me, because we get a whole round, we have to watch something passively, and then the point where we would normally make decisions, it's just like, well, because you lost, you don't have any money, and now you don't get to make any decisions. I can get $1 for firing someone, but that's not enough to afford something, you know? Wonderful sound choices. The way that they all just, the ones that come towards the end, just lay down on the floor, go, It's a mood. We all feel like just laying down on the floor occasionally and going, I like that. I don't really want to play another round of it. I'm going to check out, was this... Sorry, Toucan, was this your game? I think it was. Yep. we download Helivery. We will download Time Prison, which looks like a slightly zany movement shooter. And does this run in the... This one runs in the browser, so let's check this out while the other two are downloading. Cool level design. Very cool level design. My skill has... I used all of my skill up on the first time round. Those spikes are incredibly unforgiving. You can't collide with them from the side. Oh. Right, one more time. That is the greatest jump animation. Very fun. Neat. Adding a checkpoint as an upgrade, that's a really interesting sort of player selected difficulty thing. Oh, I see. And then I play the same level, but I try and get faster at it, and I add little upgrades. Really nice. Need some upgrades that are like... changes the jump sound. That's great. Yeah, nice little idea. Very well executed. Right. Time Prison and Helivery up next. Helivery is a game about delivering things. I think... Let's give it a go. Let's give it a shot. Slide with jump spacebar, throw donut E, slide. Oh, are we throwing the things we're delivering? Are we doing a Paperboy? That's a boomer reference if ever. I mean, Paperboy is old enough to be a boomer game, like a genuine boomer game, not like how we call millennials and Gen X's boomers to annoy them. Like, Paperboy is actually a boomer game. I've been working non-stop for the last 3 years as a delivery driver. I can't remember the last time my hands were free from a wheel or carrying a package. They always send me in the most secluded places they can find. I am just one of many nameless workers. They know I'm expendable. Just focus on the road, Loopy, I told myself, trying to keep an eye open. The 96-hour shift is starting to weigh on my eyes. And before I realised, the bumpy road I was on came to an end. When I woke up, I found myself in this strange place. Turning into Gordon Ramsay now. A furry figure stands before me. It's Lucifer, and they're tapping on a job application, already filled with my name and signature. They said I'm hired, and warmly welcomes me to my new personal hell. A donut shop in this economy? Okay, I'm skipping a little bit because I want to just see the game. Throw and catch. That is a lovely illustration. Okay, I don't need the mouse. I was mousing for no reason. I'm throwing donuts and I'm jumping. I'm jumping over some stuff. And then I'm donutting. I love the parallax as well with the sort of blurred stuff in the foreground. Don't know why I thought I could jump over that. Control is slide. Again, like... I suppose... Okay, so I'm just jumping, throwing donuts, and sliding. Okay. My hand is doing such a weird shape to have my fingers on those buttons. You gotta think more about the ergonomics of your control layouts, folks. Like, control design, it's like, yes, do what other games do, but don't just take one control mapping in isolation. Oh, like, E is action, so I use E for action. Yeah, E is action in the context of a game where these other things are these things, you know? So at the moment, this button, this is just using space, E, and control. So you can play along with me at home. Take your fingers and try and put them on the space bar, the E key, and the control key all at the same time. And you will feel like you're doing a special hand symbol from some sort of alien race in Star Trek. And it hurts a little bit. But yeah, beautiful artwork. Really, really lovely, kind of flavorful artwork. I love the expression on the character's face. It's great. Right, I can slide now that I've got my hand into the dreaded cursed position. I think maybe this is like a deliberately painful controller mapping to help me understand how it feels to be the character.
3, 2, 1, go!
You can watch Star Trek instead. If anyone ever says to me, you know, I would rather than watch your stream, I would rather watch a show written by 15 very talented people and starring some of the best actors in the world, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. That's totally understandable. I've always had older family members that sort of come from a generation where they sort of have the TV on in the background all the time. I'll sort of go around someone's house and they'll have something on in the background. Be Star Trek or whatever. It doesn't have to be anything as good as Star Trek. And then they sort of expect you not to watch it. And they want you to just sort of talk to them while the TV is on in the background. And it's like, dude, the show that is on in the background in your house has been written by some very talented people. It's almost like you're being tested. It's like, if you want me to pay attention to you, don't put a TV show, don't put Simpsons on in the background. I'm going to pay attention to the Simpsons. You know? I mean, I'm definitely a double screener. I have lots of things on at the same time. But if someone visits my house and I want them to pay attention to me, I'm turning the TV off. I'm not going to put a highly rated HBO drama on in the background just to test whether someone is paying enough attention to me that they can, you know, stop themselves from watching Breaking Bad to pay attention to whatever I've got to say. I'm a next generation guy. I sort of stopped after those, really. I like the silliness of the holodeck. I like the sort of 90s postmodernism nonsense of just like, hey guys, let's put a narrative device in our show that just means we can do cowboys or film noir whenever the hell we want. because we want to dress Patrick Stewart up like a 1920s detective whenever we feel like it in our space opera. Like, yeah, that is the good stuff. That is what I need. Of course, by then I've seen it all. I've seen everything.
3, 2, 1,
I am not a merry man. Of course, by then, their clothes have all rotted off. And then I ride away on the grass. Really great animation work. Really love the general kind of story concept of this. It says nom when you pause as well. Nom nom. How do I get out of it though? How do I get out of it? Oh, it's because it's an app and not a... I thought it was still in the browser. I was trying to minimize the browser and it wasn't in the browser. Okay, Time Prison. As an MMO player, E and control is nothing. E and control, as I say, there's the context, right? In an MMO, you need all the buttons. Map the controls to what makes sense for the game. You don't need to make people do a painful hand position just because it's possible, right? Just because it's possible to press E and control at the same time doesn't mean that you need to make people do it. It is not good. It's not good. Yes. Yes. This is what I need in my life. There's a timer. I've got to jump over walls. No. This is definitely not the first person to do this. I've seen other people do these movement shooters with like all of the mouth-made sound effects and stuff. It when I'm in Time Prison and people keep going after me with their magnets. This is video games. The ultimate. There's like Subway Surfers going, and then there's like a Marxist essay going or something. I want to make those, but it's like this kind of game, and then just the most glowing, over-the-top utopian academic writing that I can find about video games being read over it. But particularly if you go back to like the late 90s or the early 2000s, you get this kind of type of academic writing about games that is so gushingly praiseful about the possibilities of games. And I just want to hear that read out while you're looking at something like this. Time Prison. Amazing. You need to hear that sting. I'm not going to play that one again because there was not much to get out of it, but it was great. Time Prison. Very good. I like Time Prison. The ultimate in video gaming. The ultimate in human experience, I think. I think saying it's just a good example of video games is underselling it. I'm not even being ironic. We had it was called Time Cowboy on my mainstream a few weeks ago that was this kind of thing, and there's something about I just love a visually noisy abstract game with silliness that feels nice to move around in. There's something about that just appeals to my baseline, what am I trying to get out of a video game type thing. Rach, are you a robot? Because you've just commented something that has nothing to do with what we asked for. 83, that was Time Prison. Speed Loop. We checked out Little Dude Racers. To do these two, I'm not going to refresh the page because if I refresh the page, there's going to be more on there, and I don't want to do more. Why? I just don't. Just don't. No is a full sentence. Axial Drift.
Can't really go for longer than 3 hours for this. We've seen some great stuff though. The quality of stuff that comes out of this jam is really high. Main mode, side mode. Don't make me pick a mode. No one wants to pick a mode in your small video game. Ooh. I'm just going round. Don't really understand what's going on or why I'm so zoomed in and can't see my I'm gonna log off in about 5 minutes, Jamie, so I've got 1 or 2 left to look at, but I think I'm nearly done for the day. Am I supposed to be able to change land? Ah, I'm clicking. I'm clicking. Now we're clicking. Okay. So we're doing a sort of multi-directional circular Space Invaders type thing. And I'm a pizza and I'm flinging hot dogs at some sort of off. Did it move me in a lane, or is that something that I've done myself? That's neat. I don't need any more of it though. I don't need any more of that. Mini Mel and Anna, sorry if this doubled up now. You should be sorry. If I load it and I've already seen it, I am gonna do nothing in particular. I'm just gonna play it or not play it. Daily Dairy. A street to be walked down again and again. Okay. This is the thing about this theme. It's like, again, people always comment on GMTK having good game jam themes, but the problem with Loop is it's just something that all games have to a better or worse extent. It's a bit like setting mechanics or theme as a game jam theme. The theme of the jam is theme. The theme of the jam is gameplay. I just don't... yeah. If you ring the bell at a house with an anomaly, you won't survive. Okay, so it's an anomaly game. Okay, that makes more sense. Anomaly games are inherently... like, they have more exposed loops than any other type of genre of small games. You're very aware of the fact you're going through a loop. The entire game is about what is different in this loop, and it's a very small thing. So, makes sense. Makes sense. I thought we were going to get a sad art game about someone's father going for milk. I might try and do another one of these in the next couple of days, and I'll look at some more of the games. But yeah, sorry I didn't get around to many. But well, I think we looked at quite a lot. Bring the milk, and to be honest, I would like to do a stream looking at the ones that were top voted, because then we can kind of talk about why they did so well and what it is they did so well. Bring the milk to all of the houses. There's a white kitty in that one. I've come to bring your milk. It's a lot of milk, yeah. When I was a teenager, my friends and I would occasionally stay out all night. And sometimes, if some poor soul in our town was very, very unlucky, they might wake up in the morning and some wretched young men will have been to their house between 4 and 7 in the morning and taken all of their milk. Yeah, nearly 10,000 submissions. That's wild. I wasn't paying attention to the last 2 houses, so I've already failed at the anomaly here. There's something really weird about the kind of sheen to the character. It makes it feel like one of those railway models or like an architectural model of a neighborhood. In a good way. It's like kind of creepy and unnerving with the music. I'm here to put milk inside of your house. Mate. Okay. So I skip the houses with the anomalies. So, giant... We're doing multiple anomaly check. That has got loads of letterboxes that aren't supposed to be there. That house has matching curtains upstairs and downstairs, which is terrible. But probably not an anomaly. Sort of making me feel... I don't know if anyone's seen the animated movie of A Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick. It kind of is giving me that vibe. No, not there. Don't go there. Once you start... Once you start walking up to the door, you can't backtrack. And I was like, that house is too small. Wolfsbane, have you got matching curtains in your front, like in the whole house? Yeah, I'm quite good at, like, there's lots of, I try and be honest about my strengths and weaknesses. You know, I'm not an expert in everything. Like, there's even things that I've done professionally for years, or like got, incorporated into my PhD that I know a lot about. But I try and sort of operate from the point of view of, the thing I know most is that I don't know much about most things, right? There are things I know a lot about, more than most people, but lots of things I don't know a lot about. There is one thing that you can absolutely be certain that I will know about and that you can trust me on, and that is that no house should have more than one mailbox outside. It's just the sort of thing that I feel very strongly about, and when I see a house with more than one mailbox, it's not like a cognitive thing I have to think about. I just know that there's something wrong. And it reminds me of a time before when I saw a house with more than one mailbox, and I just don't want to go back there again. I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to refresh the page, and I'm going to do the next 2 off the list for the strong people that survived that last ad lib. You can have 2 more games. Oh, what? No, I think if you have Wolfsbane, I think if you just have like white blinds or something minimalist and it matches, I think that's okay. My issue would be if there was like a traditional looking patterned curtain or something and it matched upstairs and downstairs. That would just look like some weird show house. I think if it's minimalist and it's all white blinds, there's nothing wrong with that. There's certain types of matching that don't work. If something's supposed to look old school and kind of traditional in some way, then the thing shouldn't match. It should be like bohemian and mix and matchy. But, what can I say? I'm not an interior design expert. But one thing I can say is when I see a house with matching curtains upstairs and downstairs, it chills me to the bone. And I know that whoever lives in that house has something fundamentally wrong with them. I'm not sure if I believe in a soul, like the metaphysical concept of a human soul. I think it's like a more of a metaphor really for someone's personality and how they'll be remembered in the world. But I think if you have matching curtains upstairs and downstairs in your house, if I believed in souls, then I would think a person like that has a bad soul in some way. You know? You know, not to be unreasonable or anything, but I know there's lots of other people that might want to base that on something a bit more substantial. But Little Toucan, please do go and eat. I think eating is probably more valuable than subjecting yourself to me trying to force you to have some sort of existential crisis. Couch. Psychotic people having a favourite colour past the age of 30. This I agree with that so hard. I really do. I don't think adults should have a favourite colour. You know what I think adults should have a favourite of? If you're an adult and you don't have a favourite dinosaur, or at least some sort of opinion on which dinosaurs are good, then I'm not interested in talking to you. And I know that might stand in opposition to the favourite colour opinion, because I totally agree with what Couch is saying in the chat. Adults should not have a favourite colour. But that's because as an adult, particularly if you're an adult who works in the arts or design or something, you will understand that colour and your enjoyment of colour is about context and adjacency, you know? Like I don't like red on its own. There are contexts where I like red, you know? There are colour palettes or situations where if there was no red, it would be really weird, you know? But you should have a favourite dinosaur. My favourite dinosaurs are basically all the bipedal plant eaters, which is quite broad, but, you know. He's a little guy. He's got 2 legs. Looks like he should chase you and eat you, but he just wants some cabbage. That's the best kind of guy. You are a jailbird imprisoned in an infinitely repeating lattice space. I hate it when that happens. Godspeed My Lattice Space Jailbird is a fantastic title. Thank you, Temirnator, for submitting this, because it's a very good name. This looks hellish. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing. Game speed, slam into glitch, break damn loop. I will try. Press escape to pause the game. Press the continue button. WASD space, left mouse button to vault, right mouse button to kick. Tips. I ain't reading any tips. We've been here long enough. Timilan. I like the title and the aesthetic of it already. It's quite a cool art style. Room simulation style. Oh, let's go on 4x4x4. Gain speed. Slam into the glitch. Break. Damn. Loop. Godspeed my lattice space jailbird. Have you never tried to form an opinion on a human based on their skeleton? Ooh, this feels cool. Okay, I'm gaining speed. What just happened? Oh no. I don't understand what's going. That's my kick. That is a fantastic kick animation. I really like that. It's got some sort of Johnny Bravo energy. I don't know what I'm trying to do. There's so many little bits of writing on things I just don't understand what. Remember, break the damn loop. I'm trying. Kicks conserve momentum. Gravity is your tool. Okay. Okay, I can bounce off a surface by clicking it. That's nice. I see. We're doing some sort of... Am I ever supposed to turn in the air and kick and then kick? Because that's kind of horrible if I have to do. That's really fun. I'm not sure if it's enjoyable, but it feels like the basis of something interesting. Okay, so I think I'm trying to bounce off this and bounce up through the pink booster, but then the next loop I sort of don't go in the same trajectory, so I need to sort of adapt each loop. It feels like one of the early puzzles in Portal when you're looping up and like trying to... Yeah, it's like there's some Portal style movement, momentum preservation stuff going on. I think I'm supposed to go down once and then bounce off the top of that thing the next time. It's very, very challenging. I'd still always rather play something like this though than like a getting over it style hard game, because at least here it's like I think things like getting over it are like popular because when you're watching someone else do it, it's very easy to understand what's going on, whereas this, it's like I barely understand what's going on and I'm in the thing. But I'd still, if I'm going to play something that's really hard, I'd still rather learn something like this where I feel like there's some kind of skill to it. But yeah, I can't quite get the I mean, it says break the loop, but I don't feel like I'm doing a loop. I feel like I'm changing the loop a little bit each time to try and get myself to maintain the momentum, and I can't quite do this one. So jumping down the hole kills your forward momentum because you can't, unless you can turn sideways. I mean, I could just... Yeah, you have to always remember the players don't look up thing. The bright pink is helping, but... Okay, so I would maybe... Are we supposed to go down there, jump up, and then... Once we've got that momentum... Ah, okay. Whoa. Left click to vault climb, no cooldown on them. I think we need a little bit more of a I know you only had 4 days, but a little bit more of a celebration when we break the loop, because it feels broken. It doesn't feel like something good has happened, and it needs. If you're going to make this into a bigger game, as soon as you hit that point where you're telling the player that they've won, we need like some kind of like Space Odyssey thing to happen for just a second or so that you know that you've won. Because at the moment it doesn't feel like I've won because breaking out of I'm starting to get into that cool experience of going whoosh, whoosh, whoosh forwards, and then suddenly it stops me doing that, and it feels like a punishment, and it's actually the thing that I'm supposed to be rewarded for. No, this is not breakable. It's glass. Okay, I mean glass often is breakable. Yeet. Well, that didn't work very well. Can I... If I go... that way? I'll just go really fast by holding down shift. Is that a... Did I hit a debug thing? I think I found a debug setting or something. No, there's nothing to stop me on this level. This is video games, guys. This is what video games should be like. We got so good at making video games look more like real places, and we forgot that we had the capacity to build a 3D environment that you could go along at 500 miles an hour in. And I know there's some people out there who will say, well, I don't want to go at 500 miles an hour. I want to go at a realistic speed. And look, you can stay in meat space and you can drive your Tesla around at 70 miles an hour. I'll be on the flip side. I'll be going at 2,000%, green barring all the way. I'll go so fast, I stop colliding with anything. I'll go so fast the graphics can't render it. And then you tell me that you would prefer to have realistic graphics over that. $70 miles per hour is for plebs, but also the concept of miles is for plebs. I want to go so fast. This is what video games are for. This. Video games are for doing things that you can't do in reality. Like going at 19,000% speed. And being able to express speed as a percentage. Because everything is completely arbitrary and nothing is anchored in the physics of the inferior so-called real world. This is what video games are for. And you complain and you whine about, oh, AAA games, they cost so much money and they put yellow paint everywhere. They put yellow paint everywhere because you'll get lost if they don't do it. Because you all decided to forego the purity of a big black empty room with some primitive shapes in it and going at 1,000, 2,000% speed. Philistines. I think if I leave this game running anymore, I'm going to turn into Lawnmower Man and I'm going to phone people up and brainwash them over the internet or something, and never really understood what was supposed to have happened at the end of that film. Yeah, sorry, I got a bit distracted from the actual gameplay there, but that's because you made a game that transcended gameplay. If you want to put a quote on your itch page, Joe Baxter Webb, this game transcends gameplay. It's true. Don't tell me how many days I need to survive for until a rescue helicopter is able to come and save you. Okay. I suppose that's reasonable. You may find loot and strange artifacts to help you survive the elements on your journey. Always remember to stay hydrated and have a tasty meal. Sorry in advance for your eyes. Losing all your hunger or thirst bar will take away a life. You kind of need those. Keep an eye on... Okay, blah, 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 blah. There was a severe shortage of time for me on this one, but I still had a lot of fun. I don't care about your fun, Kyle. I do really. Just in case anyone has just tuned in, I'm being facetious for comic effect. I do care about Kyle's time. I hope Kyle had a lot of fun making this game. I'm just tired and in a strange mood, and I feel like being horrible to Kyle is more entertaining than me going, "Yay, everyone made a game. Well done, everybody. You made a game. Well done. Have a sticker." This area lacks food. Oh, this is cute. It's like bouncy castle biomes. Holding E to open a chest. This is video games, people. You found a thirst-quenching beverage. I mean, artificially extending the game time by making me hold a progress bar down is giving Roblox. I went in a little door. I picked up an artifact. A lockpick. You know, lockpicks from the ancient times. I don't have stickers, I'm afraid. I mean, I have stickers you can buy on my shop, but I don't own any of them. They're just print on demand. It's got so much Roblox energy. You know what, though? I think the best games on Roblox are really well designed. Like Doors. Doors is fantastic. So I had never played Roblox, and then I worked at a Roblox studio for like a year. And I had to go and do loads of research and just learn what people played on the platform and stuff. And there's some really impressive stuff. I wish I could be bothered to learn Lua. There's certain things I would like to do with that platform because of the... I mean, it's not easy, but it makes doing networked social games easier than trying to do them from scratch on Unity and stuff and get an audience for it. You know, you can make some weird experimental social game on Roblox and get people straight into it. So I have a lot of respect for that platform. Not so much the, you know, getting 12-year-old kiddies into grind set, heavily monetized game design stuff so much, but I do think there's good stuff on there. This area severely lacks water. So I sort of have to remember what the artifacts do, I guess. Oh no, they do tell me. This is a neat idea. There's like... It's very strange. It's very strange. It kind of reminds me of a bouncy castle or being in like a kid's like soft play area, just with the kind of make-believe element of a survival fantasy strapped onto it. It's neat. This area lacks water. I don't really know. I sort of don't understand what I'm doing as a player in terms of like making any sorts of decisions. I feel like it's mostly just pushing in a direction. The molten bracelet helps resist the cold. What if I don't want to resist the cold? What if I'm trying to Wim Hof it? Okay, so the player choice here is which of the artifacts do you choose in that thing, but I don't really have a good idea of what they are before I pick them. So it's almost like you have to learn what the artifacts are, so that when you get to that choice, you know what that one does. But also, I can't really look ahead and know what's coming up in order to know which artifact would be good. So at the moment, I would just be going, oh, I'll try and get one of everything, and then I got a bag of ice. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, to take this and make it into a game that had more decisions, you'd have to give the player enough information so that when they pick what their item is, they know what's coming up and they can pick the item in relation to that. And then if you really wanted it to have decisions, they would have to be actually making a plan about where to go next. Because if you just say, oh, the next two realms are the fire realm and the ice realm, and then you let the player pick an item, and it's like you can pick the fire protection or the ice protection, that's not even really asking the player to make a decision. That's just asking them to pay attention. Or even better example, fire realm or ice realm, and then the items are like the ice item or the wind item. That's just asking them to pay attention and pick the fire item and then go to the fire realm, or whichever way around it works. They're not making decisions. Whereas if you say to the player, do you want the gold crown or the silver crown? Do you want the magic sword or the magic axe, right? And you can see that the magic sword is through the fire realm and the magic axe is through the ice realm. And then you let the player make some decisions based on that. But their first decision of which item do they want is the thing that they make for themselves, and then they base all their other choices around that. It's really, really hard to design choice structures for games. And without them, they can feel quite hollow. But that's also a very difficult thing to practice in a game jam and in a short game jam. So it's totally fine in a 2-day, 3-day, 4-day game jam to make something that is focused on honing programming skills, focused on making small interactions satisfying. Everything I can see and interact with on the screen here is very pleasant. Like, it might look simple, but, you know, you've got the sound effects in the right places. There's text to communicate things. The type of thing you're talking about giving it a bit more kind of player agency or stuff is hard. It's not an easy thing to do, you know. The game I've been working on recently, I've probably been working on it 2 months now. It's only really getting to the point where it's starting to have like a 5-minute game loop of stuff you can do that's a bit more structured than just jump around. Yeah. What is that emote? It's like some kind of creature. This mechanic is about gambling. Well, I did say it was like Roblox, and that's most of what Roblox is. This oasis negates severe daytime dehydration. The fruit basket helps you keep... What is that? The fruit basket? I found a bandage to heal some wounds. I'm going to stop now, though, because I could just walk around in that for a while, which is worrying. Folks, if it's your first time on the channel, I've only started multi-streaming to Twitch recently, but I do a main stream every Thursday, which is this playtesting and game design discussion one. Should be another one next Thursday. Maybe I've got something turned off. But yeah, we do a theme stream every Thursday, and then I just nip on at other times when I can and do some game dev or do streams about particular things that I'm working on, or, you know, once a month we do this community monthly, which is only games from the Discord that support this channel. slightly different vibe from Indies Under the Knife. If you want to submit a game to be played on this channel that isn't to do with the GMTK Jam, just generally, I tend to only play games that are still being made. That means if your game is up for a price, if it's been released and you're asking money for it, I don't review it. I tend to only play games that have not been commercially released yet. There's a few reasons for that. One is that this is a design crit channel mostly. Like about 75% of what I do here is giving critical feedback on people's games as they're making them from the perspective of someone who has been making games professionally for like 10 years as a designer and producer and been a hobby dev for like 20 years before that. So I give feedback to people who are still working on their games, usually not released finished games, and part of that is just because, well, it's the unique selling point of the channel, really, I guess, is that there's so much games criticism that is just, you know, telling people what's wrong with their games after they're finished. And obviously people can change their games after they're finished, but it's not quite the same as getting like thorough playtesting while you're still working on something. So that's what I do here. If you want to submit something, you can go on my YouTube channel. At the top there's this Google form that allows you to submit games. I also have a website, indiegameclinic.com, where you can find that same form, submit games, find out about other things I do. I also do a monthly podcast, which is on here as well. And I'm old school, so to me a podcast is an audio thing and not a video of two people talking. We've got a podcast called The Game Developers Library, which is a book review podcast. We did Derek Hughes' Spelunky book first time. We did Raf Costa's Theory of Fun. We did Jesse Schell's Art of Game Design last month. I had a guest on, and then next month I'm back with Tom, who did the Spelunky book with me, and we are doing Blood, Sweat and Pixels, which is a fantastic sort of journalistic account of a bunch of different games being made. So we're starting off with a bunch of books that are about like general game dev and how specific games were made, and then we're possibly going to branch out from there and do some books that are generally about design, stuff that game designers can learn from general designers, so things like, you know, design of everyday objects and stuff like that, and maybe Scott McCloud's book about comics, those kind of things, things that people working in games can learn from. So Game Developers Library is part of Indie Game Clinic as well. It's one of the other things I do, which is supported by the Patreon. Patreon's doing quite well. I don't really do much kind of unique special stuff for the Patreon. People just support it because they like what I do here and they want it to keep going. I do occasionally do video lectures where I sort of talk about stuff I used to teach at university level, but I turn it into long YouTube videos. And one of the things I do on the Patreon as a reward is, you know, things like that where I do longer form educational content. I put it up on there so that supporters can get it without ads. But yeah, that's everything I do. If you're totally new to the channel, thanks for dropping in. I am not streaming every single day, just because I can't yet, and I make a lot of kind of pre-edited YouTube content as well, so I have to do that, and occasionally work on my own games. Will I give you a sticker? I don't have any stickers, and I have stickers in my store, but I would have to buy a sticker from my own store and then mail it to you, and that would get that. I had these made. I thought you might appreciate these. My channel store is just weird, sort of alternative game dev memes. Born to Dev, Gamers of Fuck, I Am Trash Man, 4 million dead projects. These are my other recent ones I did last week. This one's a bit thin, you can't hear it. My other car is an OBJ. Quite like that one. So like it looks like a Transformers shirt or a Wipeout shirt from a distance, and then it's got a nerd joke on it. Live, Laugh, Lerp. You don't need to submit to Patreon to submit a GMTK game, no. But I'm logging off in a minute, so we might have a look at some more next week. But to be honest, there's 1,000. If I carry on going, we'll just be playing Game Jam games for weeks. It's good swag, right? When I posted these, someone said I'd have the Live Laugh Lerp one, but not in a pastel colour. And it's like, well, that's part of the joke. It's part of the joke. It's supposed to look like a wine mum shirt. You can't have a wine mum shirt and then have it in like dark blue or something. Fail and fast and find and fun. And this is a favourite. I don't know who would wear this, but playing game. I will go mad if I have to play broken games made in 4 days for weeks. That's torture. That's torture. I haven't done anything to deserve that. And then this is my best shirt design. I drew it myself. But I'm getting a proper metal designer to redo these. Because this is okay, but I want a 2.0. I want a professionally done one. So these don't sell very much. All of them are just ideas that come into my head, and I'm like, that's an object that should exist, even if only 5 people buy it. So ludonarrative dissonance, written as if it's a black metal band. There's about 5 of these in the world, and these ones will be coming down in about a month because I'm getting there's a local graphic designer that does really good brutal metal tops, and I'm getting him to redo this one because I just want it to look a little bit more swish. YOLO Dev. Couch, you can make your own YOLO Dev shirt. That's This is the worst thing. This is the worst thing I've ever made. I've made lots of bad things in my life. I've made bad music, I've made bad games, I've made lots of bad decisions. But this is a bad thing. It says, my dream game is a cozy farming Metroidvania Soulsborne deck builder roguelike sim about a froggy. I think I should have gone harder on the fonts. It's not bad enough. It's quite hard to like make things deliberately bad so that people understand that they're deliberately bad, you know? Because it's kind of like when you're designing, well, anything actually, clothes, games, anything, you're creating for an audience who don't know you. They're just going to see this object in the world or interact with this object. And the thing about that situation is anything you do as a joke probably needs to be like 5 times more obvious than you think it is, right? You know, like in this stream, there are various points. My sense of humor is quite dry. I quite like creating a situation where people don't know if I'm joking. But if you want to make a joke and have it perceived as a joke, you really have to make it obvious. You're like, ta-da, it's a joke. That's why they do the drum roll to announce it's a joke. I feel like this shirt is not bad enough. I feel like it needs to be worse so that people understand that it's... Yeah, it needs one more genre. A 4X imsim. That's like the worst. That's the worst. So, I don't know if you know the game Spore, right? But Spore is often sort of brought out as an example of like the game that lots of people think is their dream game when they first get into games. They're like, oh, what if I could make this game where it had like this macro level of you're controlling a whole civilization and then you zoom into this really detailed thing. And it's like really cursed. And I feel like 4X ImSim has the same kind of energy. It's like, I'm building a whole civilization and then I can send a spy to someone's government and unscrew all the light bulbs in The Hague or something. It's got the same sort of vibe. I like the idea of the 4X Imsim. That's beautifully terrible. I love Spore, yeah. I remember making some really weird stuff in it. I made a species of like humanoid pigs that all had top hats. The top hat was like part of their body. It's just like a meat cylinder painted black on top of their head. Right, folks. Thank you all for coming. I am going to go and consume some H2O and breathe some more.